Morning Grind with Pork Rinds.
Welcome to the show.
And a good Winging It Wednesday to you right here on the Morning Rant. Hey, everyone. What's up, North Georgia? Dave Garner with you till 11 o'clock this morning right here on SportsPigRadio.com and the Sports Pig app. I'm here with the big man, John Davis, two-time Georgia Tech All-American, Buffalo Bill, and a proud Gilmer High Bobcat joining us right here on the program. What's up, John? How you doing?
Dave, I've got my coffee, I've got my fruit, and I've got you, so we're ready to go.
and I am totally digging the Sports Pig T-shirt, man.
Exactly.
I mean, you went rogue on us, man. You went out there, man. You got it put together. I love it, man. Rocking the logo this morning on the T-shirt. They were both wearing white here today, but man, we appreciate you guys being with us right here on a Winging It Wednesday, presented by your friends at the pub in LJ. $1 wings all day long at the pub, and again, they stay open until midnight tonight, so you got plenty of time, whether it be lunch, whether it be dinner today on this tax day, as folks are scrambling to get everything filed in time here today. So after you get it all done, after you get it all sent off and ready to go, treat yourself to some $1 wings on tax day.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. And I've got to give a shout out to Olivia. I'm going to talk about her after a while, but she loves me, and she wants to see us succeed. So I asked her about a T-shirt, and she got it put together, and we're in the process of getting you one. We're walking advertisers because we got a QR code on the back of it. So wherever we go when we're wearing it, we'll just tell people to put us or take a picture of it, and it'll take us straight to the YouTube page and get a subscription from them that's free. Yeah,
it is a free subscription, by the way, and I know you and I were talking about that. We do want to remind folks with all the different things, and we're going to talk a little bit later on about some of the the streaming services and kind of continue that conversation a little bit because there's some other news, of course, that goes along with that. But our stuff is totally free, so I mean, it's not all you got to do is like and subscribe, just like a regular YouTube page. There is no cost to listen to this show every day, to watch it on YouTube. Again, you can watch full video episodes of the show downloaded daily on YouTube. Again, the Morning Rant is also on Instagram. We've got some, little clips from the show if you don't feel like watching the entire hour, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but I mean, hey, if you don't have time, we understand. You can go to Instagram, check out some clips of the Morning Rant. Also, the Sports Pig is on Facebook. Clips of the show, clips of some of our other programming on there as well, including our Atlanta Braves, who got they got a dramatic dub last night, another big hit by Dom Smith. We're going to play the audio for you of that clip here in a little bit. But again, the Braves continuing to do what they've done all year long, which is persevere. They had a rough outing the other night, allowing 10 runs to a kind of a lineup of names that you don't know. I mean, there's a lot of guys in this Florida Marlin lineup that are not household names by any means, some good young ball players, but it wasn't our best outing the other night. We were down 4-0 last night, the Braves were, before they were able to rally late. They get the 3-run double there from Dominic Smith in the 8th inning, which put them up, and then Raisel Iglesias able to come in and close it out, 6-5 the final there. We'll talk about the Braves a little bit later on as well. I wanted to start out, John, because we talked about turning the page with the Masters, and obviously last week was Masters week. It was Masters weekend, of course, over in Augusta, and we kind of went through our picks a little bit yesterday. You were one stroke off the lead there for the win. Our man Billy D, our golf insider, who's got a tournament this weekend down in Barnsley Gardens, he won it by a stroke over you, and then of course Coop and I were third and fourth respectively, a few strokes behind there in our little host challenge right here on the Morning Rant. But one of the things that's drawn a little bit of fire, and we talk about how good CBS is with their coverage and everything, they are drawing a little bit of criticism, though, for some of the misses they had late on Sunday. The approach shot out of the woods from Rory, they kind of totally botched that. And then Cam Young from the other side of the fairway, kind of the same deal. There were a couple of different putts, a couple of different things like that. There was some criticism, even to the point that Jim Nantz made an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, and they were kind of talking a little bit about that. But kind of want to get your take on that, because you and I had kind of mentioned that away from the air as well.
Well, and I sent you a little note. Kevin Kisner came on and just ripped CBS. And I agree 100%, because, look, if you're going to go back and say this is a tradition like none other, I think you have to agree that when you have a par 3, they used to not show the par 3 tournament.
Right.
And then they allowed us in. They allowed the America in to watch the par 3 tournament. But I'll tell you what, the last couple of days, Dave, or the last couple of years, Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the Kelsey guy, you've got Kevin Hart, you got all these people that are in there that I think is a huge distraction from just I mean, it is Augusta, and if you're going to sit there and promote Augusta as the ultimate experience. Get those people off of there. Bring the old guard back that does the really good interviews but the cameras was absolutely ridiculous. But I can't believe, and I did not see that with Pat McAfee, but I cannot believe that Jim Nantz had to be happy. But like I said, I'll do some follow-up today and then put it in the past. But it was not very good. I think, look, I think you need 2 hosts. I think Trevor Immelman does a fantastic job. I think Jim Nantz is Jim Nantz.
Right.
Colton Oast needs to get out. He needs to go, go back to the management golf tournament and sit on the 16th hole, drink a beer, and do interviews.
Exactly.
He talked way too much, and I just thought it was a distraction. I like it. I like it when they just sit there and don't say anything. And just watch the golfer
lay out. They jump around so much because they're trying to get so much in, and I can tell you, having worked in television, and certainly not at that level by any means over the years, but having been in it long enough, when you produce that many tournaments, that many hours, because if you think about the Masters from start to finish, really they come on at 2:00. They're pretty much on till 7. So it does, in a lot of ways, go longer than a lot of like your normal average sporting events do. But again, you've got to be able, if you're going to miss, you got to miss early, right? You can't miss in the critical moments, or you're going to draw that criticism. I mean, if you're coming out of the gate and you miss a shot at 2:30 or 3:00 in the afternoon on on hole number 4, people are going to forget about it by the time you hit the turn, right? But again, when you're on 18 and you've narrowed your coverage down to the final, couple of guys there, and you're missing in some of those critical moments, that's when you're going to draw the most criticism. And I can tell you that all in all, as we talk about a tradition unlike any other, we were talking about the TV coverage overall, and that being a tradition as much of itself as the actual tournament, because Jim Nantz has been such a staple for so long, in so many sporting events, but especially the Masters. When I think of Jim Nantz, I think of, of course, NFL with Tony Romo, but obviously March Madness, which he kind of laid out of this year. Iron Eagle has kind of taken the lead as far as CBS goes, and now you're hearing them on the, the NBA as well. But again, it is one of those things where if you miss in the critical moments, you're going to draw the criticism.
Well, and then I also have to say this, and include the Golf Channel in on this, and we talked about it. They get so focused on 4 or 5 golfers that they're not willing, they're not, hey, I'm fans of all the golfers. Let me watch them. That's why I switched to Hulu, which we'll talk about streaming later. Thank goodness for Hulu, because I got to see golfers that I normally wouldn't get to see on CBS. And I just think they need to rethink the whole network and the Golf Channel. The Golf Channel is the worst because they will zone in on 4 or 5 golfers and be done with it. And of course, I said before, they hate the live golfers. They won't give them any love at the majors. And so I just think they need to reassess everything that they're doing and understand that the fans, while we like Rory, we like Scotty, we like DeChambeau, we also like some of the other golfers, and there are a lot of up-and-coming golfers.
Absolutely.
That can smack the ball, that can putt, that can chip, but we never get to see them. Except for highlights.
I mean, they didn't show a couple of the criticisms that came out, and I think Kinzer, to your point, even mentioned this as well. You had a guy in Lee, the Chinaman who, was kind of in the mix, kind of fell off, and we never really saw, they never really showed his, not that you want to capitalize on somebody's demise, but that is a story. Like if a guy falls off, he falls off the cliff, but not a mention of that until the very last hole when he hit it over the green and went in the water, and it was like, well, that's part of the reason. And then the other one was Koepka, who actually had a really good round. They didn't show Koepka until he putted out on 18. Now, it was the first time I think they mentioned him all day long, and he actually ended up being kind of, with a kind of a late run there, trying to get into the mix a little bit. So, yeah, to your point, as much as they jump around, and a lot of those shots are not even live, obviously, because of the timing of it, which you can appreciate the production value of that because they're wanting to show you what happened. But, not a lot of it's not live because you can hear, when they are live, you can hear the cheering going on, on the other hole, and then they go back to that and they say, well,
I wonder what's going to happen here.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody obviously just hit a putt, and then the next shot is somebody hitting a putt, and you kind of know. But yeah, I mean, it is tough to coordinate that many cameras. I'm not, defending it. Having been in TV, I know how tough that production quality is to try to get and nail down. But yeah, you can't miss on 18, with the leader. I mean, basically.
Yeah, well, and I'll say this. I look, I've known you for 30 plus years. I know what you do is hard, and I also know that radio hosts and somebody like myself, because you run the show and I'm just giving fodder and everything. It's not as easy. And I used to make fun of some of these guys 20, 25 years ago because I was like thinking, oh my God, what is going on here?
Right.
And this guy is not prepared. He's just not, and I'm sure I come on here sometimes, but it's harder than people think, and you want to get your opinions out. But guess what? Dave's only got an hour, and so we try to get everything in there. So I give him a little bit of grace, but when you're at the Masters, it's just a little bit different.
This is the Super Bowl of golf.
My opinion.
Yeah. Right, yeah. This is the pinnacle of the sport, essentially, and you want to be on your game there. Yeah, I can tell you, I mean, one of the hardest things, I think, in broadcasting, and there's a lot of folks out there that even listen to this show and they chime in and they've got some great takes and, would even love to have them on at some point. But it is one of those things where once you're sitting in that seat, and I've worked with a lot of guys that are very knowledgeable, but it's hard once you're in that broadcast seat to articulate that to an audience. Right. Like, it's hard for whatever reason, and it's hard to explain, but it's hard to articulate your knowledge and expertise in a way that, A, comes across well, to a listening audience, and B, doing it in a way that is in a language that you feel, or not, I wouldn't say a language, but just, verbiage that's right. TV, radio kind of quality stuff, other than just, sitting on the back of a tailgate and saying, hey, look at that, or whatever, kind of thing. And so, again, to your point, it is definitely tough to do that. But, man, you do a great job. I mean, the thing about you is you're a former professional athlete, so you bring that perspective to it, which I think is awesome.
And one of the things that I have learned, you make it a lot easier, and I've been around people who make it really easy as well, is that people want to hear stories.
Yeah.
I played for 8 years, played at Georgia Tech, played in LJ. People want to hear stories.
Yeah.
That's why people go to the football game. That gives them a 3-hour outlet just to immerse themselves in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then after the game, they're going home. They want to listen to the interviews and stuff. And I equate it kind of like being on a golf course for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm out there when I play these tournaments, celebrity tournaments, is these guys don't care about my golf. All they care about, what was Super Bowl 25 like?
Yeah.
What was, losing to New England like?
They want to see that ring,
I try my best to give, because these guys are paying, like I'm going to Jim Kelly's tournament, these guys are paying $5,000 a foursome.
Wow.
And so I am going to give them the time of their life. I'm going to have a couple of beers with them. We're going to eat some dogs, some pizza.
There you go.
And just sit there and just give them all the stories. And fortunately, I have played with some really, really good guys, and it's been a lot of fun. And I hope at the end of the day, they've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you might have to sneak me in your suitcase for that one, man. I'm telling you right there. Now, that'd be a fun one right there. Again, Big John Davis chopping it up right here on this Winging It Wednesday right here, presented by the Pub in LJ. We're up against our first break. When we come back, we will dive into a little bit more Braves talk and a lot of other things going on in the world of sports this morning. On the Morning Rant, we are the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia, on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Make your home's air healthier. Green Heating and Cooling can help by installing a Bryant Evolution air purifier just for you. Using captures and kills technology, this highly advanced MER V15 filter captures many select airborne pathogens. It also helps improve indoor air quality for both asthma and allergy sufferers by filtering air impurities like dust, pollen, and pet dander. Call to schedule an evaluation. Green Heating and Cooling, your top Bryant authorized dealer, whatever it takes.
Morning Grind with Fork Rinds.
Welcome to the show.
It's the Morning Rant, weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the H2 dial. WPGY, the Sports Pig.
Back here on a Winging It Wednesday with my man John Davis, Dave Garner with you till 11 o'clock. Again, the king of college football, Chuck Oliver, with some spring practice news and also Spring National Signing Day hitting as well yesterday and today primarily. And so, again, a lot of student athletes making their decisions official, at least for their first year. You know, it used to be when you made a commitment like that, you would kind of follow through for a few years. But the landscape of college athletics is no longer that anymore. So again, we'll see where the guys are gonna plan to play their freshman year, I guess, here with the early National Signing Day period. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Is that a little more
That's
accurate?
true.
Is that that's a little more accurate, I think, to what we're going right there. Hey, just a couple programming notes. Again, Friday is going to be a busy day for us. The Morning Rant live from Foundation Wealth in Dalton. We're going to be hanging out with Joel Hudson, Eric Dakota, and your certified financial planners over in Dalton for another live version of the show. The last time we did this, it was I think it was last Wednesday when we did a Winging It Wednesday from the pub in LJ. We were there live, but we are going to take the show on the road again on Friday, and we will be live with you from 10 to 11 over at Foundation Wealth over in Dalton, Georgia. And then that afternoon, we're going to pack everything up. We're going to roll it over to Murray County, and we're going to be in Chatsworth for the Parade of Champions, honoring the Murray County Lady Indian State Championship basketball team, the 1965 State Championship basketball team, and the two rec department championship teams as well. We will have live coverage of the parade beginning right at 4 o'clock, and hopefully we'll go for about an hour, about 4 to 5. We'll break in and we'll try to get some interviews maybe on the tail end of the parade as they come back to Murray County High School. But we're looking forward to that. So join us on Friday. Tune in. And we will have live coverage of that. Of course, as we talked about, the big John Davis Classic going to be on June the 3rd. So go ahead and mark your calendar for that at Bent Tree. And then on May the 18th, coming up next month, in about a month, is the Reinhardt University Scholarship Golf Classic that's going to take place May the 18th. It's the 38th annual that's going to be at the Manor Golf and Country Club over in Milton, Georgia. So, again, if you want to get involved in that there, we do partner with our friends at Reinhardt University. We did carry a few of the men's and women's basketball games this year, so proud to partner with our friends at Reinhardt and also Credit Union of Georgia to bring you coverage of Reinhardt Eagle athletics as well, and they've got their big golf tournament coming up. Hey, John, again, your golf tournament is coming up pretty soon, man. It was still, a couple months out or so, but man, we're definitely getting to that time of year, man. Where all these charity events, golf tournaments. I mean, people's calendars start to fill up.
Yeah, they do, and I've got one coming up. Roger Kaiser, great basketball player for Georgia Tech. Even though I don't play, I like to go over and visit Roger and Beverly and Chip and the family. But they're all over. I'm actually going to do my best. Mark West up in LJ, one of our big sponsors, he kind of leads the Gilmer County football Bobcat football tournament. And so letter winners and Hall of Fame people and everything. So I'm looking forward to getting up there and spending some time. Like I said, this is about the only time I get to go up and see my friends in LJ, and I haven't been in a while, but I want to go up there and support him. I love Coach Standard. I think what he's doing is a phenomenal job in LJ. Yeah. And I say, listen, even though I don't live there anymore, I still love to support the community. I love every time I go up, I try a new restaurant. Yeah, and then see the friends that I still have up there, and classmates and everything. So, but the tournaments are coming around, and we're just thankful that Bent Tree does a great job for us. This will probably be, I'm going to say, the 15th, the 17th tournament that we've had there out of the 33. And they just do a phenomenal job. You get to see, and on top of that, golf, you get to see deer, turkey, and bear.
There you go.
Believe it or not, last year we were at the tee box, thank goodness, but about 150 yards down, I was like, what is that? And I kept looking, and it was 3 bears just walking across.
My goodness.
And so
That's the kind of stuff you see when you're in the North Georgia mountains, man. You might see anything. Yeah,
exactly. And so I've got a great support. I bet, Dave, I'm going to say 85% of the golfers have probably played in almost all of the tournaments.
Right.
Which means a lot to me.
Oh, yeah.
We try to get a lot of people up from Atlanta. It's a little bit longer drive, but once they get up there, they know it's a worthwhile cause. They don't care who wins because they know at the end of the day, hospice wins, which is what's important.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a trip down memory lane here in the next segment of the show there, and we're going to talk about some Braves in just a moment. But I want to ask you, because you talked about, Ella J, and you talked about the sense of community that a lot of our, North Georgia towns have. And yes. You haven't played in a town like Buffalo, maybe a little bit bigger scale, obviously, but still very much everything that I hear about Buffalo is just that sense of community, kind of that small town kind of attitude in a bigger sized town. Are there any similarities between, a town like LJ and a town like Buffalo as far as the community support?
To me, the people are the same because it's Western New York, as you know.
Yeah.
And I told you one time, I said, when I got back from Buffalo, everybody was saying, well, what's it like living in New York City? And I'm like, well, really, I don't know because I'm 7 hours away in Buffalo.
It's a little different lay of the land,
Listen, the people in Buffalo are just unbelievable, as you know. And I'm going to get fortunate to go back up in August. But, they've always welcomed us. They welcomed us when we left. I said goodbye. And the career I had, I thought I did okay. I didn't think I was, obviously not all pro and all of that, but I fit the needs of the Bills at that time. And a lot of people up there really appreciated that.
Yeah.
And the people in LJ, I never want to forget them because I was inducted into the State of Georgia High School Hall of Fame.
Right.
And listen, Ella J built me. Ella J, made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget those people who just were a big part of my life. And it's a lot of emotion when I go back up there, even though it's changed. I see some of these people, and it just immediately brings back the memories.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And playing in a town as well, obviously being in Atlanta collegiately, but then going to Buffalo, eventually ending up in Buffalo, very much that same sense of community. So awesome, no doubt about it.
If I could say this, Georgia Tech's the same way.
Right.
In a way because of our own little community, and I don't think a lot of people realize we have so many sidewalk fans.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you something. Those guys, I know I keep saying it, those people are heart of gold, man.
Right.
They don't have to be a Tech fan. They can go to Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Clemson. But you know what? They show up every Saturday, and they are diehard. And I have a chance to talk to them down at the tailgate with my buddy Bill Fincher. Mm-hmm. And they're just, I have people come up to me and say, hey, son, you need to meet the refrigerator mover. I told Bill one time, I said, I don't even think he knows what my name is.
Right.
But he knows who
he knows the refrigerator mover. I wonder how much of that you get on the street. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's amazing.
Hey, there's
It's amazing because we park right next to the stadium, and so I like to sit there and talk to them. They come up, ask questions, say hello, and that's what it's all about. We have a whole group over at Peters Parking Deck where all the letter winners park and everything, but they don't get to interact with the fans. And I'm not saying that's bad, but I love being where Bill is because I get a chance to interact, and I might meet, I don't know, sometimes I might meet 2 or 3, sometimes I meet 20 or 30.
Right.
But it's always fun to hear the stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt. And that's, that's what people want to hear. And that's why we have you on here, like I said earlier. I mean, just the perspective that you bring is a perspective that you're not going to get from, any of the other co-hosts or any other, shows for that matter, radio shows, what have you, radio stations even for that matter, right here on the Sports Pig. Again, you get John Davis a few days a week with you right here, chopping it up, talking about the stories, but not just, from the NFL. I mean, stories and perspectives from here in our North Georgia area to be able to ride through that. So we definitely appreciate that right here on the program. As we talked about, we're going to have our Memory Lane with the refrigerator mover segment coming up. It'll be presented by our friends at North Georgia Design and Construction. As we mentioned, Friday we'll be live over at Foundation Wealth in Dalton. So steadily trying to get the show out there to everyone each and every week, each and every day. You can also visit us on our social media. The Sports Pig is on Facebook. Our show, The Morning Rant, is on Instagram. You can also watch full video episodes of the show daily on YouTube. The podcast version of The Morning Rant is also available on sportspigradio.com and wherever you listen to your daily favorite podcast on both Apple and Android platforms, including Spotify and Podbean. You can also catch me on Twitter at DaveGarner777. He's at JohnDavis_65, and this is The Morning Rant. We'll take our second time out. When we come back, we'll talk about the Braves, and we'll take a trip down memory lane with the refrigerator mover. All that and more straight ahead on this edition of The Morning Rant. We're the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
When you get hurt from an accident, it can feel like no one is listening to you. The insurance company talks over you. The bills keep coming. It's like the pain and inconvenience doesn't even matter to them. But your story does matter. And here at Geiger Legal, we will make sure your story is heard loud and clear. My name is Casey Geiger, and my firm stands up for people who have been wronged through someone else's negligence. Let us tell your story. Let us get the justice you deserve, and let's start today.
Call Geiger Legal Group at 833-HELP-GLG. That's 833-HELP-GLG, and let us tell your story today.
Ball and 2 strikes. Here it comes. Hit in the air, deep left center field. Back to the gap, it flies, and that's down for a base hit. Here we go. 1 run in, 2 runs in, a 3rd run in. Dominic Smith just mangled one into the gap, and the Braves take the lead in the.
And that's what it sounded like last night, folks. The Atlanta Braves getting the dub 6-5. Again, our very own Ben Ingram of the Braves Radio Network on the call last night as Dominic Smith delivers once again. And what a nice addition he's been to, or been for this Braves squad here again, getting the base clearing double last night. The Braves fell behind early 4-0, but bounced back and won 6-5. And tonight, the rubber game of the series now, 7:15 start in Atlanta as the Braves try to win yet another series. But, again, some more Dom Smith heroics last night, Big John. And I know you've got some different stats and things about this Braves team that you kind of wanted to share, a little bit early on the season about their pitching and so forth amongst some of the league leaders and some of those categories.
Well, the one stat I was going to say was I was going to get mad at you because the one thing you don't do is jinx.
Yeah.
The Braves have won every series.
Oh, man, I know.
I'm like thinking, you know what, Dave Garner's.
That's it. Blame it on me. Blame it on me. Yeah.
And then when Dominic came up, everything was good. Oh, what pitching by the relief.
Oh, yeah.
Is Iggy?
You talking about Iglesias?
The relief pitcher.
Yeah, well, you had, of course, Reisel's the closer.
Okay, this pitcher got the 100th save.
That was Raisel Iglesias. Yeah.
Okay. Iggy. Yeah, I think is what they call him.
All those baseball names, they always shorten everybody up.
Yeah, but hey,
Matty,
100
Tommy
saves with the Braves is great. But just a couple of things, and because I know we talked about small ball, long ball, and all that. Just as of right now, in the top 3, and I know it's early, to about 20 games, right at 20 games. In the top 2 or 3 in the NL right now, the pitchers are on top with ERA, earned runs given up, walks, and on-base average.
Right.
That tells you pitching's coming around, and they're consistent. And the small ball part of the Braves, their average is number 2, RBI's number 2, hits number 1, and home runs number 2.
Yeah.
So they're doing it from both sides,
Right.
They're contributing, and I think it's great. And I know we all kid all all your guests and everything kid about the long ball and short ball, but our small ball. But the Brave, the stats don't lie, and that's great.
Right. Numbers don't lie. I think we cleared up the confusion and the misunderstanding yesterday with me and Billy D,
I understand.
Tuesday co-host there. Yeah. No, we were talking about and as Will Cooper calls it, it's smart baseball, right? I mean, it's finding ways to win games. We talk about that in football a lot, right? I mean, you got to be more than a one-trick pony Tony, you got to win games different ways. You got to find ways to win games. The Falcons, for example, tend to find new ways to lose games. It seems like every week, teams like that. But the good teams find ways, or sometimes have to invent new ways to win games. And so, kudos to this Braves team so far as they picked up their 11th win of the season last night. That equals the next best record in the National League behind the Dodgers, of course. Yep. The Padres also have 11 wins. But, the Braves right now, again, the Marlins, a team that have gotten off to a pretty good start so far in the NL East. They've got a young lineup, like we said, a core of guys that you never heard of. But, they can score runs. And it looked like last night the Braves were going to, be 0-2 in this series and trying to salvage a game tonight. But now they're in a position to win another series tonight.
Well, and what was it last year or the year before? They started like 0-8 or 0-9, something like that.
0-7,
yeah. Been that bad.
Yeah.
But you start off hot like this. As you know, it all starts with the consistency of the program.
Oh yeah.
And Weiss is doing a great job. And it's been fun to watch. I turned it right when Dominic hit that double because
right.
I was doing some work for Hester on the computer, and I was just like, man, there he goes.
Yeah.
Just knocked it right down the gap, and the base running was excellent.
Yeah, two times he's hit this year with the bases loaded. And the first time was the walk-off grand slam. On that second night of the season on that Saturday night. And then last night, the bases loaded again. Nearly got it out, but poked one to the gap, like you said, cleared the bases, a 3-run shot. That was the difference in the game as the Braves come from behind last night and win. Hey, who's ready for some story time right here on the Morning Rant?
It's time to take a stroll down memory lane with the Refrigerator Mover.
All right, so here we go, John. Again, story time lined up and teed up for you right here. Again, this week's Refrigerator Mover Memory Lane segment presented by our friends at North Georgia Design and Construction. Scott Merrill and his team can build you pretty much anything, bridge over troubled water, you name it, industrial, commercial buildings, can do a lot, man. Can pretty much engineer about anything that you need here in North Georgia. All right, John, man, time now for this week's segment right here. Take us down memory lane, partner.
Well, I'm going to see you tomorrow, and I was trying to figure out what we're going to do because my oldest daughter, Olivia, is due with our third grandboy. And I'm like, Yaya and Pops are going to head up to Raleigh here in a week or so.
Oh, wow.
But it brought me back to an old story back in 1991 when Olivia was getting ready to be born.
Yeah.
And the game that we happened to have on that Sunday was the Raiders and the 51-3 game.
All right, yeah. I remember that one,
Yeah. And so right before the game, Hester calls me because we didn't know the sex of the baby. And she calls me because she had just gone to the doctor because she didn't know if she was going to get to come to the game or not.
Right.
And I'm on the phone with her in the training room, and she's like, well, do you want to know what the sex is of the baby? And I'm like, well, we've waited this long. Go ahead. This is here. And when she told me we were having a girl, I was just like, started crying.
Yeah.
And just so happy and everything.
Ecstatic, yeah.
And I told her, I said, look, I got to go. I got to get down to the stadium, start warming up and everything. And, of course, all the guys in the locker room like, why are you crying? And I said, dude, we're having a girl tomorrow, you know. And so it's awesome. And so go out on the field, and we know, we beat the Raiders 51-3, but I was watching some highlights not long ago, and the first series we drove right down the field, and all I had on my face was this just big grin.
Yeah.
I was just like, and I probably was still, crying and everything from how happy.
Yeah.
And we get down, we got down there in like a minute and a half, 60, 70 yards, and Howie Long at the timeout, they call timeout, and Howie Long's like, Davis, he says, why are you laughing so much? Yeah. And I said, dude, I just found out I'm having a baby girl tomorrow.
Right.
And he looked at me and he's like, damn. And so we kind of knew how the rest of it ended. And thankfully I only had to play half a game.
Yeah.
Which was nice. And the end of the story, we lived on a nice little road in Williamsville. And we had become friends with a lot of people on there. And there was this old World War II veteran that cared for his special needs girl, that she would walk the dog for us and,
Sure.
and help,
Yeah.
we'd help out and stuff. And Dan was his name. And, well, Dan liked to get in the bottle a little bit. And so after we won the game, he calls one of the news stations and announces to Buffalo. He says, well, I just need y'all to know that Hester and John are having a baby girl tomorrow, and
wow.
they've decided to name her Victoria for the victory today.
Okay.
And we're like, so I'm getting all these phone calls, and the reporters, he says, so what's Victoria's middle name? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, like what?
And he says, well, they called the station and said, you're naming your daughter Victoria. And I'm like, no, that's,
Yeah.
Dan's in the bottle.
Right,
You can't listen to him. And so it ended up being Olivia Grace.
Yeah,
And she's the one, bless her heart, she would sit with me, watch sports. We have bonds with all of our kids.
Right,
and, but it's so fun watching her be a mother, and she's going to have another boy.
Wow.
We got Henry
Awesome.
first,
Yes.
Hudson, and then we don't know what the third H is going to be.
Right, yeah.
But we're going to hear Hester's going up to Raleigh next week, and we're going to hear when she's got to schedule her C-section. So I might be doing a show from Raleigh.
I was going to say, you may very well be doing one from there. Well, and we got it. Yeah, we got to credit Olivia too for the T-shirt design too.
Oh yeah, no, she's all about helping. Now, right now, she's very tired, which is understandable, and I'm always peppering her with questions, and I can only imagine what she's saying,
right?
Because she's got a mouth like mine sometimes, and but she's always willing to help. She put my website together, and I said, dear, I want to try to support and advertise for the Sports Big, and I said, what do you think about a QR code? And I can wear it, and I can go down like I'm going to Georgia Tech Friday night, and I'm going to wear this shirt and have everybody download
all the spring stuff and everything. Yeah.
And so she came up with it, and she came up with, she built my website 6, 7, 8 years ago, and I'm going to get back into blogging and telling stories like I do here. But she's just, I'm so proud of her and Derek, and those boys are as cute as they can be. But let me tell you something, they are hell on wheels, and like any grandson should be.
I was going to say, you wouldn't expect any less. Yeah,
exactly.
There you go. Raising maybe some future football players right there.
Exactly.
Awesome job right here once again as we head down memory lane with the refrigerator mover. Once again, brought to you by your friends at North Georgia Design and Construction. And family, like you were saying something earlier. I mean, you have multiple kids like I do, and your relationship, you love each of them equally, but you love each of them kind of differently, right? There's different things that you connect with with certain kids more so than others, and you just got to find that one thing, I think, with each kid that you kind of just gravitate to and bond.
What's amazing, and Hester did a phenomenal job raising our kids because I was on the road a lot, but what's amazing is that you can have 4 individuals that are so different. And it's just absolutely amazing. And the reason I think the holidays are getting better when we can all have them home is that I just like to sit back and just listen to them talk.
Right.
And,
Because
the times we're in right now is not the greatest, and it hadn't been for the last few years.
Sure.
But they talk, and they share ideas, they share their thoughts, they have their opinions. And I just sit back and I just think it's wonderful. And I also bring up, when you say family, Warren Sellers is as big a part of my family as anybody because we've known each other since 5th grade.
Sure.
I've got Lex and Ann Rainey that I consider Lex and Ann parents almost because I love them so much.
Sure.
And you have people like Cindy and Mark West who have been great friends of mine for years. Old buddy David Tutherow, who I get to see. We played football together.
David,
one of the toughest SOBs I've ever met in my life. David Westmoreland. I could go on and on with my close friends in LJ. And that's what it all is. And we at times would try to incorporate all these people in our lives, especially when we lived in LJ. We used to have a big Easter dinner, or we would have a big Masters Day on Sunday, and we would incorporate our church into it. And And that's what it's all about, and that's why I think LJ is so special to me.
I love it. I love it. North Georgia, small town community, no doubt about it. We're going to talk about some people from the Buffalo side of things as well on the other side of the break, some folks that were close to you as well, and we'll also dive into some NFL, some college news on the other side of our final break right here on this Winging It Wednesday edition of the Morning Rant presented by your friends at the Pub and LJ. $1 wings all day long on this April 15th tax day. Take advantage of it. They'll be open till midnight tonight. Again, this is the Morning Rant. We're your home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Financial scams are on the rise, and with AI, they're getting more and more sophisticated every day. If someone pressures you to act quickly, ask for secrecy, or request payment through gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, stop. Legitimate financial professionals don't rush you or demand unusual payment methods. Before you send money or share personal information, slow down and verify. Protect your future. When in doubt, ask questions.
If you're suspicious of a scam, call the team at Foundation Wealth today at 706-278-0214.
Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
Back here on a Winging It Wednesday, Dave Garner, Big John Davis inside our Carriage Kia studio here today. The home of ESPN Radio lives here in North Georgia. That's the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com. Also on the dial at 98.1, 93.7, and 101.1 on the HD2 dial for you 30%ers out there that are fortunate enough to have a high-def radio in your car or wherever you may be listening from this morning. Again, you can also visit us on social media. You can catch full video episodes after the fact on YouTube. Again, they're all free, so go ahead. You can go back. If you missed a couple shows, you can get caught up. We appreciate you guys listening in here on a Wednesday morning. As we mentioned, Friday, live from Foundation Wealth in Dalton, we'll be doing an on-location show again. And then that afternoon, we'll have exclusive coverage presented by your friends at Chatsworth Ford. That will take place at 4 o'clock Friday afternoon. Tune in between 4 and 5, and we will have live coverage of the Murray County Parade of Champions. John, a big weekend coming up as the NBA and NHL playoffs get underway. Our Atlanta Hawks tangling with the New York Knicks in the first round there, and the NHL playoffs as well. I know you're going to be paying attention to that because of the Buffalo Sabres, right? I mean, it's been a while, but the Sabres are back in it, man, and so we're ready for some hockey, man.
I think the owners, Pagulas, finally put a little bit of money in there and got smart and brought back a guy named Lindy Ruff. Lindy came to Buffalo about the time I was leaving, and no-nonsense guy, but players guy because he played as well. And it's so, I mean, look, if you've seen the highlights, those fans just go absolutely nuts.
Absolutely.
I think 15 years since they've either been in the playoffs, and I think it's been a while since they've even won the division.
Right.
But it makes me go back and think of the old days of the Odd where I could not sit in the seats. They were so small. So I would go out into the rotunda area and drink a beer and have a fried bologna sandwich and just talk to the fans.
I love it. I love it.
And I just got to mention two guys that are really, really some of my best friends up in Buffalo. They actually helped me get around with the Jim Kelly tournament, amongst other things. But this guy I first met when I got to Buffalo at the Italian Festival, Mark Butler.
Okay.
And we became friends, and then we kind of, after I retired, we kind of split up a little bit, and then we all of a sudden rekindled our friendship. And he brought another guy along named Jim Prentice, who's just unbelievable. A great guy, always has a smile on his face. Huge Bills fans, and just they're retired now. And they're kind of snowbirds. They go back and forth because Mark and Jim's like, I'm not going to miss the Bills games,
right?
Which I completely understand, especially during this time. But getting back to the family part of it, those two guys to me I consider like brothers, and that's the relationships we have built over the years.
Sure,
Hester did such a great job with us getting us out of Orchard Park into the rest of the community that I have made lifelong friends up there.
Yes.
And that those two guys are heart of gold, man. And I know they are happy. They're not staying at home to watch the game. They're going to find the bar that's carrying it, and that's where they're going to be.
I always am back to family. Of course, Hester. I mean, she is good as gold, no doubt about it. And I think about family and the dynamics. I was telling my kids. I mean, the further you get out of high school, typically, the less and less you keep in touch with people, and you really, in a lot of cases, you only carry a few people with you from high school. Right. You know a lot of people. That funnel kind of narrows down as you go throughout life, and you usually carry a few friends with you. So, again, you're kind of it's kind of like an hourglass. You start with a lot of friends, you kind of narrow it down. But then when you get older, you settle into your career, you settle into where you're going to live or what have you, that funnel, again, starts to open back up, and you pull in other people later in life that become friends. And so, to your point, you've made good friends on both ends of that hourglass throughout your life.
Well, and another thing I'll bring up that's interesting, you said, I played in the NFL for 8 years, so I basically lost 8 years of working in the real world, but also being with my teammates at Georgia Tech and anybody else, because, they've started their careers. I'm out playing in the NFL. When you come back, they're still working. I'm still trying to get to work, because I've been out of the workforce for so long. But now, Friday and Saturday, I'm going to have 2 days to visit with all my teammates.
Yep.
And I take a trip over to Lake Oconee to see my buddy Robert Massey. Yep. I have about 6 or 7 teammates that'll come up and play in my golf tournament.
Right.
And most importantly, 2 guys that are special to me: Pete Wellborn, who helped me put together the Curry Huddle,
right,
and then obviously the ultimate's Bill Curry. I've had 4 years to spend with him, and
Coach Curry,
I love him to death, love him like a father, and I'm going to get to see him Friday and Saturday, so it's going to be a special time. And it's like you said, I talked to a couple of my teammates this past week. They called me or I called them. We asked for help. They asked for help. They give ideas. We give ideas. And so you're exactly right. Mine is definitely starting to get, grow.
Right.
From family on out to my teammates who I consider my family.
That's awesome.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, there we go. We're talking, and real quick, too, about the NHL, NBA. It's going to be a busy weekend. Obviously, everything gets started. Both of those sports postseasons run simultaneously. Right. Even the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals are usually one's on Monday, one's on Tuesday. They stair-step each other. I don't know if you saw the Blue Jackets. I think it was Columbus Blue Jackets coach that basically called out the team, man, said they weren't playing with any intensity late in the year. They were putting it on cruise control.
Well, you know how I feel about that. I think Coach Bowness, I think that's how you say it. He called them out, except for not caring.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you got to do today. But Dave, one of the things that has hurt. Let me put that a different way. One of the things that you have to realign yourself with as a head coach is, how do you communicate with a guy making $25 million a year?
Right.
So that changes the conversation.
Yeah.
And so, but the coach is still the coach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, is he going to be there? Who knows? It depends on what the owner is. But the coach, I love coaches like this.
Yeah.
And listen, Marv Levy was really easygoing until I saw him at the Hall of Fame game against the Washington Redskins my first year up there.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I'm like, who the hell is that guy? I mean, I had never seen that before.
Oh,
in my life.
yeah.
And I've got another story about him as I was getting back from an injury that we'll go over. But Marv was very quiet in demeanor. But man, when he said something, and you could tell when he was raising his voice, he didn't really raise his voice, but you could hear a crack in his voice, and we all knew to sit up and listen. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Got to pay attention to the head man there and have that respect there. So maybe the Blue Jackets will answer that. Hopefully so. Yeah. So again, NHL, NBA playoffs again. Crank it up on Saturday. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Speaking of, now it's time for a segment that is called That's What I'm Talking About, right here on The Morning Rant.
From the buzzer beaters to the big hits. If it's making noise in the world of sports, we've got something to say about it. This is
Now That's What I'm Talking About.
That's what I'm
I'm talking about.
Your all-access pass to the hottest takes in the world of sports.
All right, so again, hot takes, hot mics right here on the Morning Rant. Again, a Winging It Wednesday edition presented by your friends at the pub in LJ, $1 wings all day long. Dave Garner, Big John Davis with you right here. We were talking, it's kind of been an ongoing discussion. We were going to kind of let it go a little bit, but again, more news keeps coming out. DOJ, Department of Justice, FCC, antitrust investigations going on right now with the NFL, and kind of wanted to pile on with that a little bit as far as all the streaming services, because even when you look, for example, bringing it closer to home with our Atlanta Hawks this weekend, for example, opening game against the New York Knicks, game 1 of the NBA playoffs, not even on network TV. You got to have a Prime subscription, Amazon Prime, to watch it. 2 of the first 4 games are on Prime. One of them's on NBC. The other one's is like on an NBC other platform or what have you. So again, it kind of goes back to our conversation really with all the sports, but especially now, it looks like there's some cracking down going on with the NFL.
Well, and, I just noticed it this morning. I sent you a note on Fox and Friends that the DOJ is getting involved. But one guy did mention the NFL has good lawyers, which trust me, you're not a multi-billion enterprise if you don't have good lawyers.
Retainer,
yeah, exactly. And what I'm saying, I'm looking at my notes here. Is they're trying to force the fans to see how far they can push them to do the streaming. 80% of the games are free right now, but then you have Prime, you've got Peacock, you've got YouTube, you've got
Hulu, you got whatever,
Hulu,
Apple TV, whatever,
Apple TV, you got it all. And it's just like, so what they're doing, which I caught the last part of it before we go, but what they're doing is that, okay, I'm going to sign up for Prime just to watch my game today, and then I'm going to, get out of it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. Yeah.
And so what's happening now that's come out is that, people are forgetting to cancel their subscription, so they're having to pay for another month, and that's what those streaming people are counting on.
Oh, they're counting on you forgetting that.
Yeah, forgetting that. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, well, at least I got an extra free month out of it.
Right, yeah.
And so I don't know what's going to happen with it. I hate it. I just found out, I think that the Super Bowl this year is going to be on ESPN.
Right, so they kind of rotate it around.
ABC, Fox, CBS. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to him. I do know this. Roger Goodell has a plan, and he's going to push it as far as he can, and he's going to see, who's going to ride along with him.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And ESPN Super Bowl means we got Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on the call there. So again, that's what that would mean, I think. But yeah,
well, I've got the radio.
Yeah, so. Exactly. We listen. Maybe Tirico or somebody would. Well, of course, he's with NBC now. Anyway, I think I really love Mike Tirico. I think he's very underrated as a play-by-play guy, honestly. But there's just some guys. I think that the Joe Bucks of the world always get a lot of criticism. I think just smugness. I think of Joe Buck sometimes is what. Although I think he does a good job. But there are some people out there that absolutely can't stand him. But
I don't think he's nothing like his father.
Yeah, and Jack, the legendary Jack Buck. Yeah,
you don't make the broadcast about you. And that's the whole thing. I mean, I understand where Troy's come from. Tony Romo's very good, but sometimes he can be like, okay, Tony.
He gets a little too prognosticated. I don't know, Jim.
Let's scale it back a little bit. And that goes back to, we need to get our viewers, go back and listen on Monday night with Howard Cosell.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically listen to his halftime when he does the highlights.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Get any better than that.
No doubt. I mean, there's a lot of legendary guys. Now that's a rabbit hole that I could climb down and go all day long right here. We have to have the Memory Lane with Diamond Dave segment right here as well on the Morning Rant. Hey, we're about out of time on this show, man. We appreciate you guys being with us. Big John Davis joining us right here on a Winging It Wednesday. Want to remind folks again, we're all over social media, so if you can't listen to the show live, again, you can go on to YouTube free. all the episodes on there, downloaded daily. The Morning Rant is also on Instagram as well. The podcast version of the show is uploaded daily as well to our website, sportspigradio.com, and wherever you listen to your favorite daily podcast. It's also on Spotify, Podbeam, all the Apple, Android platforms, you name it. You can also visit our Twitter pages as well and interact with us there. I'm at Dave Garner 777. He's at John Davis _65. John Pops Davis on Twitter, and we appreciate you guys being with us. John, another great job as always. Thanks for bringing it again, partner, right here on another edition of the Morning Rant.
Love seeing you, Dave.
Awesome. Again, we'll be back tomorrow with our man, Will Cooper, our Braves insider, will join us as we dive further into the Braves, and hopefully we'll be talking about another series win against the Braves live right here tonight on the Morning Rant. Again, first pitch, 7:15. Chuck Oliver up next.
And I get to see you in Cartersville tomorrow.
Yes.
So I look forward to that.
We'll be in Cartersville tomorrow. Sounds good, partner. Again, Morning Rant tomorrow morning right here on the Sports Pig. We'll see you.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, where hot takes meet hot mics.